Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we will be looking at one very interesting topic, and that is the speed test between a road bike, a hybrid and an MTB with and without using aero bars, and this is done on a flat road. Normally what happens is that when they compare road bike versus other bikes, for example a road bike versus MTB, they do the comparison of road bike on road and MTB on trails, or they do it on gravel and things like that. In this video the idea was to test the difference in speed on smooth paved roads, in standard and using aero bars. My target audience for this video is people who already have an MTB or a hybrid and they are feeling that it is slow and they want to make it go faster, or people who are new to biking and they want to buy a bike and they are confused on what kind of bike to buy, but they want good speed. I've got three contenders here. The road bike is Montra Celtic 2.1, which is my bike, and then hybrid Suncross Innovate, I got that from Pradeep, and Rock Rider 5.3 I got that from Sanjay. Both of them are our group members, and for all these I'm using this Decathlon clip-on aero bars, which is being shown in the picture here, and that cost 2900. This is my road bike, the Montra Celtic 2.1. It's a technically it's a 2016 model year bike, but I bought it brand new in 2020. It was lying in the showroom for almost 2 years without any buyer. And this is Suncross Innovate. This is a 2020 model year bike, purchased in early 2021. This is a Rock Rider 5.3. This is a 2013 model year bike, but it was purchased brand new in 2017. Here are the specifications, the key specifications of each of these cycles, and this is important because this is what tells us how fast a bike can go. And I have highlighted them in red: the crank, the cassette and the wheels. These are the three most important things which determine how fast it can go. The crank on this bike is a Torney 2-speed 5034 compact crank, and the cassette is an 8-speed Shimano cassette. And on the right you can see the theoretical speed at 90 rpm. I got that from bikecalc.com. You can put the cassette and the crank teeth numbers and it will give the speed at each rpm. And I use 50 19, 50 17 and 50 15, which is 4th, 5th and 6th gear at the back. And here are the speeds given, that is 30, 33 and 37.8. So the normal speed that I do will be around 30 to 40, and this is true as per this calculation as well. And then here is the specification set of the hybrid bike. It's a 44 teeth crank, 44 teeth chainring, that is the biggest, and at the rear 14, that is the smallest gear, that is the 7th gear on this bike. And theoretically if you see the speeds, it can do 28, 32 and 36. So the top speed is only around 36.8 for the hybrid, so it maxes out at that speed. You want to go any faster, you'll only be spinning it faster, you don't have any more gears. But if you see on the road bike, I still have 50 13 and 50 11, two more gears left, which I don't use much because I use it only for descents. But here on the hybrid you will be spinning out at 37 to 40 km per hour max. And here the Rock Rider 5.3, this is an MTB and the gearing is more suited for climbing, so it only has a 40 teeth large chainring at the front and a 9-speed at the back. And in theoretical terms, again it maxes out at around 41 km per hour on the 3rd gear at the front and the 9th gear at the back. Normally we will be using 40 15, 40 13 and 40 11, that is 7, 8 and 9th gear, and you will be able to do 30 to 40 km per hour on the flats. And again, like the hybrid, you will end up spinning out even in the top gear, which is not the case with the road bike. And this is just about the condition and the usage of the bikes, so that you can have a fair idea of the way the bikes were maintained before we did this test. My bike is around 4600 kilometers done now at the time of this test, and everything on the bike is stock except that the chain I replaced it at 4000, so it's done 600 on the new chain. On the hybrid bike, it's almost brand new. It's done around 600 to 800 kilometers. The rider he has not used it much. He has done about 1 century ride and about 3 or 4 50s, and that's about it. And the rest of it is just running errands. The Rock Rider 5.3 is the oldest bike. It's done around 7,000 kilometers, but the entire drivetrain was changed at 6,000. Even the tires have been changed at 6,000. So to look at it, it's almost like a new bike now. And my bike, that is the Mantra, that looks like the oldest bike in the test this time. Here is the photo of the road bike, and here it is with me on it. You can see the amount of lean that I'll have to put in to feel comfortable on this bike. And here it is fitted with the clip-on aero bars. You can see the aero bars jutting out at the top there, and here it is with me sitting on it. Now here you'll see the comparison of me sitting on the standard road bike hood position and on the aero bars. My shoulders are a little lower, my neck is lower, my elbows are more relaxed, and they're almost perpendicular to the ground. So in a road bike perspective, there is not a significant change from a standard position to a aero bar position. There is already a fair amount of lean, and it only becomes a little higher in the aero bars. Here is the hybrid, and here it is with me on it. It's pretty upright. Here it is with the aero bars, and here it is with me on it. So there's a significant amount of lean. Let me show this to you. See the amount of the lean that I'll have to put in from the standard to the aero bars. So it's a very big change, and if you are very new to riding with aero bars, you will take maybe a month almost to get used to this leaned in position. Here is the MTB, and here it is with me on it. It's very upright compared to even the hybrid. Here it is with the aero bars and the lean. Look at the lean that I'll have to put in. It's much more than the hybrid. So in terms of the position change, road bike there is some change but not very high. Hybrid there is more change, and MTB it's a phenomenal change, a very big change. So this is the test course. It's a 1 kilometer out and 1 kilometer back course that I chose. This is one of the only roads in my area which is flat enough and long enough, and it doesn't have too much traffic as well. So the total course length is 2.06 kilometers. That is, we go 1 kilometer and return 1 kilometer after taking a U-turn. The way down, that is the first 1 kilometer, it's a slight downhill as you can see from the elevation chart here. And the way back, that is the second 1 kilometer, it's a slight uphill. The total gain in elevation is 10 meters. So this is the testing method that we used. 6 laps on each bike, that is 3 in standard position, 3 with aero bars, and it was done on the same time of the day, that is between 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. on 3 different days. And the reason we did 3 laps was to get a good average, that is in one lap if I go slower, the other lap would make up for that. So here you see, it's just a clipping. This is not taken in the test. This is me on the standard road bike position. This is me riding on the road bike with aero bars. So there's a fair amount of lean, but it's actually very comfortable now that I got used to that. This is the timing that I managed. First lap 4:21, then 4:01, then 4:13. So 3 laps without the aero bars. And this is with aero bars, 4:18, 4 and 3:55. Here is the comparison. Road bike without aero bars and with aero bars, the average is around 7 seconds faster when I am using the aero bars. But even though it's just 7 seconds, the amount of comfort that I get is a lot higher when I'm using the aero bars. And as the distances increase, this gap is going to build up significantly. And maybe even you can try it out and see how much of a big gap you can build just by adding aero bars. It's very comfortable, and you can build a big gap between a standard road bike position and this. And these are some of the issues that I faced when riding the road bike. On the second lap, let me show that to you here. Yeah, it's coming on the third lap. It went to 413. The reason it went to 413 was because of this. Two dogs, they just ran across the street. They jumped on the divider and came in my path. So I had to slow down and then pick back speed. That's why I had to slow down. And on the aero bars, on the first lap itself, that is 418, cattle entered the road from the crossroad, so I had to slow down a bit and then pick back speed. So those are the only two issues that I faced. Not very major, because things like these always happen on Indian roads. Here's the hybrid bike that I was riding without aero bars. Look at how upright it is. Again, these are not clips that were taken during the test, but after the test. This is with the aero bars, very leaned in. So here's the test that I managed. The first lap was 448 and then 430 and again 440. The reason is it's very upright, and I can't really put too much power like I can on the road bike. Timing with aero bars again significantly improved. I dropped almost 10 seconds on each lap. Here is the comparison. So 440 on an average without aero bars, and 4 minute 26 with aero bars. That is almost 14 to 15 seconds of gap that I built on the 3 laps. That is on an average. And as the distances increase, this is again going to get bigger and bigger. There was one small issue that I faced on the hybrid, and that is why you'll see that the MTB was faster than the hybrid in my test. You can see on the left the thing that I marked on red. The crotch angle, the seat angle was a little high, sloping upwards on the hybrid bike. This is more comfortable for riding upright, but unfortunately when we go into aero bars, it was putting some strain on my groin area. So I could not put too much power down into the pedals, and that's why you'll see that even though I used aero bars, I was not able to go too much fast on the hybrid. And this you'll understand after you see the MTB part. This is the MTB riding upright, again taken after the ride, after the testing that I did. And this is MTB with aero bars. You can see the amount of lean that's coming in. The difference with and without is highest in terms of MTB in the sitting position. Here you can see the timing, 436, 418 and 428. That's what I managed without aero bars on MTB. Again, it's faster than the hybrid because of the seat angle that I mentioned. And with aero bars, 419, 419, 414. And look at the comparison. I saved almost 10 seconds per lap on the MTB. And there was a small issue with the MTB as well. The frame size, I felt it was one size smaller than what was ideal for my height. The triangle that I marked in the second photo down. And because it was a size smaller, I could not put too much power down into the pedal. It was like pushing into my stomach actually when I was on the aero bar. Didn't feel all that comfortable because of that. If you have a proper sized bike, then it's gonna be feeling much more comfortable. And practically what I felt was there won't be too much of a difference between an MTB like this, that is a hardtail, and a hybrid on a flat road. The other problem was the positioning of the aero bars on the handlebar. I marked the circle on the first photo there. It's a very small area which is 31.8 meter diameter, and it starts to taper immediately after that, which makes the positioning of the aero bars very close to the center of the handle. and that's a small issue. But if you are going on longer distances, that can become a major issue as well. So these are the two things in MTB. If you can sort both these things out, there won't be too much of a difference between an MTB and a hybrid once you add aero bars. You'll be doing almost the same kind of speeds on flat roads. And again, you can see the overall comparison here. Road bike is significantly faster than both of these. I did a 411 average without the aero bars, and the hybrid was 440, MTB was 427. So the road bike is almost 16 and almost 30 seconds faster. And the road bike with aero bars, it's 404, 426 and 417. Again, the road bike is like almost 13 and then 22. So it's much faster than both of these on roads. But over distances, you will encounter bad roads, you will encounter traffic, you will encounter uphills, downhills, you will encounter road bumps, all these things. And by putting aero bars on your hybrid or MTB, you can come pretty close to a road bike in real world conditions. Probably on the national highways, road bikers will beat you, but overall, you can still come pretty close using the aero bars. So these are the conclusions which I drew from this testing. Road bike is of course the fastest on the roads. Part of the reason is because of the gearing, which I had explained earlier in this video. If you can put taller gears on the MTB or hybrid, you can come even more closer to this road bike figure. And clip-on aero bars, they lead to significant increases in speed for the same kind of energy output, and they are a lot more comfortable on all these three kinds of bikes. And if your frame geometry is apt for your size and you love your bike, don't go and buy a new bike, but buy a clip-on aero bar to make yourself faster. That's what is the main conclusion that I drew from this. Pros of using the aero bars: it's more speed for the same effort. That is the biggest pro. It's more comfortable over longer distances compared to standard position, and it also gives you multiple positions to use on your handle. And of course, it looks cool when you're riding on the aero bars. What are the negatives? Simple. To get the correct setup on the aero bar takes a lot of time and patience. If you're doing it for the first time, you'll have to fiddle around and it will take a lot of time to get the right position. And you need to get a lot of practice to feel comfortable on the aero bars. For me, it took me almost 20-25 days of regular riding to get accustomed to that leaned in position. And handling can be a little slower on the aero bars because your hands are much closer together. You won't have much leverage to change directions, and aero bars, they add weight on your handlebar and make it a little slower. And the most dangerous thing about aero bars is in traffic and on group rides, you don't have brakes on the bar ends. So since you don't have brakes, you'll have to be taking more preemptive action, and you'll have to brake earlier, take your hands off the aero bars and use the brakes earlier and not wait for the last second to react. And for this video, this is dedicated to, or let's say special thanks to these two people, Sanjay and Pradeep. They lent me their bikes for this test. Also, they helped me in filming all these videos and photos that you have seen in this presentation. And in case of any queries, you can reach out to me on this mail ID that I mentioned. So that's it, guys. I hope this overall comparison, I didn't see any video of this sort on YouTube, so I thought I'll upload a video for this. I hope this overall comparison helps most of you to make your decision regarding what kind of bike you should buy and whether you should be going for a set of clip-on aero bars or not. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content that I've shown in this video. Thank you.